In the opening scene, we find Samson inside his butcher shop, drowning himself in alcohol. He's completely intoxicated, consumed by regret and self-loathing, muttering curses at his own reflection. Suddenly, a group of armed goons bursts in. They've come to settle an old score. Though staggering and weak, Samson refuses to surrender. One of the attackers lashes his back with a heavy chain. But despite the searing pain, Samson steadies himself and fights back with brutal precision. One by one, he kills every man who dared to enter his shop. When the fight ends, Samson collapses to the ground, bleeding and exhausted. And that's when we learn why these men were after him. The story takes us 6 months into the past. 6 months earlier, we find Samson sitting alone in a dimly lit bar. Around him, an illegal trade is quietly unfolding, a marketplace where innocent children and teen girls are bought and sold like objects. Soon, Samson meets the manager and calmly says he wants to make a deal with the owner, claiming he has a large amount of money. Hearing this, they quickly search him and then take him upstairs to meet their boss, a ruthless member of a powerful cartel. Samson sits across from him, and after a brief conversation, he pulls out the cash and places it on the table. But before anyone can react, Samson suddenly launches a brutal attack. Whoever comes in his path, he takes them down without hesitation. The number of enemies keeps increasing, but even though Samson is all alone, he doesn't stop. He keeps fighting fiercely, killing everyone in sight. Then we discover that Samson once served in the special forces. He was one of their best soldiers, which explains his deadly skills. After eliminating everyone, Samson goes upstairs and unlocks a small room. Inside, he finds a frightened boy named Victor, who had been kept as a prisoner and was soon to be sold. Samson kneels beside him and says gently, "Don't be scared. Your mother sent me to bring you home. Just stay quiet and trust me." With that, he leads Victor to the basement, where a motorcycle is parked. They both get on, and as soon as Samson rides out, he presses a detonator. Instantly, we realize he had already planted explosives in all the cars outside. The moment he triggers the switch, every car bursts into flames one by one. After driving a safe distance, Samson presses the detonator again, and this time, the entire mansion explodes behind them, wiping out every cartel member inside. However, Samson doesn't know that many innocent people were being held as captives in that same house, waiting to be sold. Unaware of this tragedy, Samson later returns home and falls asleep. But the next morning, his phone rings. When he answers, an investigator named Steve is on the line, calling him in for an interview. Samson doesn't understand why he's being called in, but when he arrives, Steve explains everything. He tells Samson, "You made the biggest mistake of your life last night. You took a child and escaped, then destroyed the entire building. But you had no idea how many other people were trapped inside." Steve continues, "The basement wasn't destroyed by the blast, but carbon dioxide spread everywhere after the explosion. People suffocated and died." As he speaks, he shows Samson the lifeless bodies of many victims. Then Steve adds, "You've been taking cases on your own for a long time. Everyone knows you were once in the special forces, and the police didn't interfere because you were helping people. But now, you need to understand something.
Leave police work to the police.
Many innocent people have died because of you. Leave this work immediately, and stop taking new cases if you truly care about people's safety." Hearing this, Samson silently leaves the office, crushed by guilt. Time passes. 6 months later, we see Samson again, a changed man. During these months, he's taken on several odd jobs, and now he works as a butcher. Yet his mind remains haunted by the past. The mistake he made 6 months ago turned his life into a living hell. Every day, he imagines the faces of those who suffocated in that basement. The guilt never leaves him. Then the scene shifts to an airport. A family arrives, the father, Finn, his wife, Monica, and their daughter, Becky. They've come here to spend some peaceful days together. Faden is an MMA fighter, and the family looks cheerful, happy to be on a holiday after so long. Faden snaps photos of his daughter while, on the other side, a girl named Amelia is also taking pictures of Becky. The family plans to stay at a nearby hotel throughout their trip, so they begin checking in. Soon after, Becky notices her phone has no signal. She walks up to Faden and says she's stepping out to the balcony to try getting network coverage. Distracted by the MMA match on TV, Faden nods in agreement. Becky steps onto the balcony, where Amelia happens to be sitting across from her. Gradually, they strike up a conversation. Amelia complains about the poor network but also shares a quick fix, showing Becky where she can find a signal. Meanwhile, Faden looks up from the TV and realizes quite some time has passed, but Becky still hasn't returned. Concern grows on his face as he starts looking around. After a while, he heads to the balcony. When Faden reaches the balcony, Becky is nowhere to be found. Only her laptop lies open on the chair. Panic strikes him. He rushes back inside and asks Monica if she knows where Becky is. Monica shakes her head and says she's been in the restroom since they arrived at the hotel. Faden immediately heads downstairs to the front desk and asks the staff if they've seen Becky. But no one knows anything. Growing desperate, he and Monica meet the hotel manager and request the CCTV footage to check who went out through the main doors. But after scanning every frame, Becky is nowhere to be seen. Faden's anxiety turns into fear. He calls the police right away, and a search operation begins throughout the city. Being a well-known MMA champion, Faden's story quickly reaches the media. He steps forward himself, pleading on national television and sharing every detail of his daughter's disappearance. Within hours, the news spreads everywhere. Faden's daughter Becky has been kidnapped. Meanwhile, we see Samson sitting quietly in his butcher shop, watching the same news broadcast about Becky's kidnapping. A little later, Faden walks into his shop in person. He tells Samson, "I need your help. I went to the embassy and met a man there. He said the police will take too long. By the time they reach the kidnappers, my daughter will already be sold. He told me only one person can help me, and that's you. He gave me your address." Hearing this, Samson firmly replies, "I've left that life behind. I'm just an ordinary man now. I can't help anyone." Monica then notices a tattoo on Samson's arm. Recognizing it, she realizes he once served in the special forces, because she herself is a police officer. Faden, desperate, places a huge bundle of cash on the counter and says, "If you need more money, I'll pay whatever it takes. Just please find my daughter." But Samson still refuses. The memories of his last mission haunt him, the lives lost, the guilt he carries. Disheartened, Faden and Monica finally give up and leave the shop. Samson quietly locks up and steps outside. Moments later, we meet his son, Selwyn, who works at the embassy. It was Selwyn who gave Faden his father's location, believing Samson could save the girl. When Samson learns this, he angrily asks, "Why did you tell them about me?" Selwyn calmly replies, "Because I know what's happening behind the government's walls. I know who kidnapped Becky, and reaching them is almost impossible. Their men are everywhere, even inside the system. No matter how hard the police try, they'll never find her. Another innocent life will be lost unless you step in. You're the only one who can reach them." But Samson shakes his head and says coldly, "I'm not going to help anyone now." With that, he turns and walks away. Meanwhile, we see Faden roaming the streets, holding a picture of Becky and asking every passerby if they've seen his daughter. But everyone says no. Most people recognize him from TV, the MMA fighter whose daughter was taken, and instead of helping, they mock him. Some sneer, "What kind of fighter are you? You couldn't even protect your own daughter. She was kidnapped right in front of you. You're nothing but a coward." Furious, Faden snaps. Rage takes over and he attacks them all, fighting brutally. He takes down several men, one after another, but soon the crowd grows. They outnumber him, and after a while, Faden is overwhelmed and beaten to the ground. Just then, another man appears, his face hidden behind a black mask. Without hesitation, he charges in and takes down every attacker one by one. After finishing them all, he helps the badly beaten Faden to his feet. That's when we realize, this mysterious man is none other than Samson. Samson brings Faden back to his shop, cleans up his wounds, and says, "I'm ready to help you. I've been watching you for days, but I have one condition: you stay out of this. Go home. I work alone, and I promise I'll find your daughter." Faden agrees, desperate for any hope, and Samson begins his mission. He sits inside a car, watching as a courier arrives at the home of a wealthy businessman named Lucas. The courier walks to the door holding a package, pretending it's a delivery. While chatting with the guard, he suddenly knocks him unconscious and slips inside unnoticed. Samson then infiltrates the CCTV control room and scans the monitors until he locates Lucas. Once he finds him, Samson storms in, ties Lucas up, and demands, "Tell me where Becky is, or I swear you won't live to see another day." Lucas insists, "I don't know who Becky is or where she's being held." Samson glares at him and warns, "If I discover you lied to me, I'll come back, and next time, you won't survive. I'll uncover the truth soon." With that, Samson walks out, leaving Lucas terrified. Moments later, Lucas makes a call. We then learn the shocking truth: he was the one who ordered Becky's kidnapping. Over the phone, he tells his man Vlad, "Get rid of Becky and destroy all evidence." Immediately, Vlad shoots Amelia and his partner, then grabs a can of gasoline and walks toward Becky to burn her alive. The next morning, police arrive at the scene and find Becky's body. She's still wearing her bracelet. When Samson hears the news, he's shaken. He insists, "We need to run a DNA test. This could be a setup." Soon, everyone gathers at the hospital, Monica and Faden included, and the DNA test confirms the body belongs to Becky. Hearing this, Monica breaks down in tears. Overwhelmed by grief and anger, she slaps Samson and yells, "Your reckless methods caused all of this." Faden, heartbroken, takes Monica back to their hotel and tells her they'll return to America as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Samson, consumed by guilt, starts drinking heavily. He feels as though another innocent girl has died because of him. Late at night, Lucas and his men storm into Samson's shop, seeking revenge. After all, Samson had tortured Lucas earlier to get information. Drunk and sluggish, Samson struggles to fight back as the men beat him mercilessly. But when he finally regains his senses, his training kicks in. Fueled by rage, he attacks Lucas's men, killing them one by one until no one's left standing. Then, covered in blood, he escapes into the night. After escaping, Samson finds a photo of Becky. Looking closely, he notices something strange. Becky always wore her bracelet on her right hand, but when he saw the dead body, it was on the left. That's when the truth hits him: Becky is still alive. Without wasting a second, Samson decides to inform Faden. But he knows Faden and Monica have already left for the airport and could fly out at any moment. Selwyn rushes in with his bike, and together they speed toward the airport. When they arrive, Samson finds Faden and tells him everything. "Becky's alive," he says urgently. "The DNA report was fake. The people who took her paid the doctor to lie. This entire city is corrupted." They immediately return to the hospital, where Samson corners the doctor. Under pressure, the doctor breaks down and confesses. "It was Stellu," he admits, the deputy defense minister. "He paid me to fake the report." It's revealed that Stellu has a twisted obsession with American girls. Every time one visits the city, he has her kidnapped and enslaved. When Stella learns that the doctor exposed him, he orders Vlad to kill Faden and Monica before they can reach him. But Samson already suspects this and hides the couple in a safe location. "You'll be safe here until I finish this," he assures them. Then he opens an old crate filled with weapons, relics from his soldier days, and prepares for war. Meanwhile, Becky is being held in a remote prison outside the city, heavily guarded. She finds a phone and manages to call her father. Faden promises to come for her and tracks her location during the call. But this turns out to be a setup. Stellu deliberately let her call, planning to lure Faden and Monica into a trap and kill them. Ignoring Samson's warnings, the couple drives straight to the site. As they arrive, they see guards everywhere. But Faden, an MMA fighter, and Monica, a trained police officer, are not easy targets. They silently take down a guard, slip inside, and eliminate others one by one. Eventually, they're surrounded. The enemy knew they were coming. Just when all hope seems lost, Samson storms in. He takes out each guard with deadly precision and grabs a key from one of them. The trio moves deeper inside until they find a girl. Believing she's Becky, they rush to free her, only to realize she's another captive, another American girl. They release her anyway. By now, all the guards are alerted and closing in. Samson reacts fast. He throws a smoke grenade and wipes out the attackers one by one. From a control room, Vlad watches everything on camera and orders his men, no one leaves alive. Outside, reinforcements arrive. Samson grabs an RPG and blows up the incoming vehicles one after another. Vlad realizes these people won't stop until they're dead. So, he calls Finn, proposing a deal. I have your daughter. You have another American girl. Hand her over, and I'll give Becky back. Faden reluctantly agrees. He has no other choice. Samson, however, warns, it's a trap. They'll have snipers waiting for you. And indeed, Vlad orders his sharpshooters, the moment they hand over the girl, kill everyone. Samson devises a counterplan. He sends Faden and Monica with the rescued girl as bait while he sneaks around and eliminates all the hidden snipers. Once they're down, the exchange begins. Faden and Monica get Becky back safely and send the other girl toward Vlad. But as she approaches, the girl pulls out a concealed gun. She fires, shooting Vlad straight in the head. With their leader dead, chaos breaks out. Police storm in and arrest the remaining members of Vlad's gang. One by one, the kidnapped girls are rescued, their nightmare finally over. Faden and Monica finally reunite with Becky. Without wasting a moment, they head straight to the airport to leave the city. Before departing, they thank Samson for saving their daughter. Samson nods silently and walks away, at peace. Meanwhile, we see Stelu sitting in a church, confessing before God. He admits his sins, begging for forgiveness. But suddenly, Samson appears behind him. Without hesitation, he shoots Stelu in the head and says coldly, God can forgive you, but I never will. And with that, the film ends. So friends, that's the end of today's story. If you like the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.